Camspiracy.
Australians are known for some very mysterious things, such as our food, our wildlife, and mysterious people.
It is feared that the Prime Minister has drowned.
Today, I want to take you on a journey of the mysteries of Australia. It was a cold winter's night in 1979. The sounds of screaming could be heard all around. Screams of fear and pleasure echoed throughout. Sydney's Luna Park was a perfect family outing to spend the evening. In fact, for one family, this was no joyride. The Godson family consisted of mother Jenny and husband John, along with their two children, Damien and Craig. They began the night by waiting for a ferry from Circular Quay. It was here that they travelled to Sydney's Luna Park. The motto of Luna Park is just for fun.
See you at Luna Park.
Mother Jenny decided to wait back while her husband and two sons went on a ghost train ride. The ghost train was Luna Park's most popular attraction. While on the ride, a spine-chilling audio used to play. An audio that used to play since 1936, which is one of the last sounds 7 innocent souls would hear among screaming as smoke began to seep out of the opening of the ride.
Yes, there are lots of ghosts in here. You'll shiver and quake, and the ghost train.
Smoke soon turned to fire, and screams of joy soon turned to screams of horror. That night, 7 people lost their lives. John Godson and his 2 children and 4 school students never made it to the end of the ghost train ride. As horrific as this is, the situation took a strange turn. When the Godson family arrived at Luna Park, the family were approached by a satanic figure dressed in a loincloth, mask, and horn headdress. Feeling cheery and shocked at the sight of this oddly dressed character, the 2 Godson children posed for a photo with the mysterious figure. The bizarrely dressed person placed his hand on 6-year-old Damien's shoulder, and a photo was captured, a haunting photo which sadly would be his last. It wasn't until later, when the boy's mother got photos from that night developed after the tragic event, she became terrified by a photo of a person wearing horns next to her son. She soon shared it with media outlets, asking for an explanation. To this day, there hasn't been one, and no one knows who this mysterious figure is. The horned figure is eerily similar to the biblical idol Moloch, who is said to have 7 chambers where people would sacrifice children and burn them alive. Is it a coincidence 7 lives were lost that night? No solid connection was ever made, but there are still a lot of unanswered questions to this 42-year-old event. Is it all just a coincidence? You be the judge. On the night of the 21st of October 1978, 20-year-old Frederick Valenticho flew on a rented Cessna airplane near Otway, which is southwest of Melbourne, soon disappearing over Bass Strait. This was not an ordinary disappearance, but something much more intriguing. Before Frederick's vanishing, Frederick had a 13-minute conversation with Melbourne Air Traffic Controller Steve Roby. This wasn't a normal back and forth conversation between pilot and air traffic controller. Other pilots overheard the eerie nature of the conversation, which caused pressure on authorities to release a transcript of the conversation eventually. This conversation and what happened next would change the lives of both of these men for good. Frederick would say things such as, "This strange aircraft is hovering on top of me again." Steve Roby, to this day, is now a broken man after his experience. Years later, he spoke about it. Here is a remake of the conversation between Steve Roby and Frederick Valenticho.
This is Delta Sierra Juliet. Is there any known traffic below 5,000 feet? No known traffic. Seems to be a large aircraft below 5,000 feet. What type of aircraft is it? I cannot confirm. It's four bright, seems to me like landing lights. The aircraft has just passed over me at least 1,000 feet above. Is there any Air Force aircraft in the vicinity?
No known aircraft in the vicinity.
Seems to be playing some sort of game. He's flying over me. Delta Sierra Juliet, it's not an aircraft, it's...
Can you describe the aircraft?
As it's flying past, it's a long shape. Cannot identify it, it has such speed. It's before me right now, Melbourne.
How large would the object be?
Seems like it's stationary. What it's doing right now is orbiting. The thing is just orbiting on top of me. It's also got a green light and a sort of metallic, like, it's shiny on the outside. It's just vanished. That strange aircraft's hovering on top of me again. It's hovering and it's not an aircraft.
There is only 17 seconds of the real audio in existence, and it is just the weird and eerie mechanical noises of the apparent UFO. This is the last 17 seconds in a mystery and the disappearance of Frederick, who has not been seen or heard from again. No signs of his plane have been found to this day. The real audio is lost media, and the full unedited audio keeps getting removed by authorities, and was rarely heard. It exists and people did hear it before its removal. If anyone has a full unedited audio or has heard it, please contact me or comment below.
Well, good morning everybody and welcome here to West Terrace Cemetery. It will be a historic day with the exhumation of the Somerton man, a mystery in South Australia for over 70 years. My role is very simple: to approve the exhumation, set the conditions, and of course ensure compliance with the reinterment and respectful management of this operation.
On the morning of December the 1st, 1948, a man's body was found on Somerton Beach, Glenelg, just south of Adelaide. The man's death has caused a mystery that is still unsolved to this day. Witnesses reported that before the body was discovered, seeing a man laying on his back with his head resting against a seawall, his legs outstretched and feet crossed. A couple who were walking on the beach on the night before, on November the 30th at about 7 p.m, noticed the man laying on the beach, and recalled the man extending his right arm, possibly of a gesture for help, but like many other witnesses, they continued walking and assumed he was just a drunk, homeless, or asleep. This mysterious man appeared to be aged in his 40s. He was in top physical condition, was about 5'11", 180 centimeters. He had no identifying marks on his body or clothes. Oddly enough, every label on his clothing had been removed. He was found with a half-smoked cigarette in his shirt collar, an unused rail ticket to Henley Beach, 7 unsmoked cigarettes and matches in his pockets, half a packet of juicy fruit gum, a hair comb, and an already used ticket from Adelaide. An autopsy that was performed showed no foreign substances in his body, although the death seemed to show similarities to the effects of poisoning. The autopsy revealed the man had been extremely healthy and strong, and the coroner ruled a case of foul play. Police suspected he was poisoned, but tests came back inconclusive. If he really died from poisoning, it was from a substance that wasn't known in the country. The autopsy also showed that the man's last meal was a pasty eaten 3 to 4 hours before his death. On the 14th of January 1949, staff working at the Adelaide railway station discovered a brown suitcase, which oddly had its label removed. The suitcase was checked into the station cloakroom after 11 o'clock am on the 30th of November 1948. That was a day before the Somerton man's body was found. There was no claimants of the suitcase, It is believed that this suitcase was owned by the mysterious man found on the Somerton beach. Inside was a number of odd items, including clothing manufactured and fitted in America, 2 blades in the form of a cut-down kitchen knife, and a sharpened pair of scissors. Also, there was a type of thread only available overseas, among other random items, including a red pair of slippers, checkered dressing gown, pajamas, 4 pairs of underpants, shaving items, an electrician's screwdriver, a light brown pair of trousers with sand in the cuffs, a table knife cut into a short, sharp instrument, a small square of zinc which was thought to have been used as a protective sheath for the knife and scissors, and a stenciling brush which was used by 3rd officers on a merchant ship's cargo. Police did find the name T. Keane on the tie, Keane on the laundry bag, and Keane on a singlet, along with 3 dry cleaning tags. Around the time of the inquest on the 7th of June 1949, a police investigation found a hidden compartment in the Somerton man's pants. There was a scrap of paper torn, found to be a rare book of Persian poetry called the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. The only words written were Taman Shud, which translated to, "It is finished." With this one important clue in hand, the police started searching for the book that the page originally came from. They did this by running a search through the media. A man came forward later saying he had found the valuable first edition book on the backseat of his car one morning after accidentally leaving the window open. His car had been parked near Somerton Beach. The book provided a number of clues itself. On the inside back of the book, there was a number of handwritten indentations, which included a phone number, an unidentified number, and a few lines of text which read the following encrypted message. The police found the owner of the mysterious phone number, and it led to a lady called Jessica Thompson. Jessica worked as a nurse in Somerton. Her house was just a stone's throw away from where the dead man was found. Thompson claimed she had never seen the man before. However, he left and walked down to the beach. Although police questioned Thompson further, she never gave them any useful information, and she was crossed off the suspect list. Was the death of the Somerton man caused naturally? An assassination? Was it an undetectable poison? The plant or medication known as digitalis? A laced cigarette? Or something unexplained? Please let me know what you think in the comments. The Min Min Lights are an Australian mystery that has intrigued and fascinated generations of Australians for many years. Stories of the Min Min Lights travel back as far as the First Nation people of Australia, who would pass on stories from their dream time from generation to generation to this very day. The First Nation people of Australia believe that the dream time was at the very beginning of time. The land and the people were created by the spirits of the land. They made the rivers, waterholes, and land. Streams, rocks, hills, plants and animals. It is believed that the spirits gave them their hunting skills and each tribe its land, their totems and their dreaming, and dates back to around 65,000 years. The story is that the Wangina were sky beings, or spirits from the clouds, who came down here from the Milky Way during dream time and created the earth and all its inhabitants. The Wangina looked upon the inhabitants and realized the enormity of the task they had in creation and returned home to bring more Wanginas. With the aid of the Dreamtime snake, the Wangina descended and spent their dreamtime creating, teaching and being gods to the First Nation people who they created. Australia's First Nation people depicted the Wangina in rock paintings estimated to be 4,000 to 18,000 years old. Do these paintings perhaps describe beings from space we now call aliens? The name Min Min was adapted in 1918. It was named after a small Min Min settlement on the old coach between Winton and Boulia in central Western Queensland, where the lights were first publicly recorded by a livestock owner in a well-known story about him riding his horse down the Kennedy Development Road at around 10 p.m. near the back of the Min Min Hotel, which had a graveyard in the back of the premises, when suddenly, out of nowhere, a light appeared above the graveyard. And at about 12 p.m, he burst into the Boulia police station, hysterically ranting about being chased by a hovering light he assumed was a ghost. When the local constable calmed him down, and the livestock owner told him that he had panicked, dug his boots into the horse and galloped towards Boulia. Several times he looked over his shoulder, and the light was still following him. It followed him into the outskirts of town, then disappeared. This is just one of the many true stories and legends of the disappearance of many travellers and naive workers who have witnessed this phenomenon. There is, however, some doubt whether the light was named after the hotel or the hotel named after the light. The hotel was later burned down, most likely out of fear, by people afraid of its stories. The area surrounding the hotel is now a major tourist hotspot for Min Min sightings, since this famous reported case all those years ago. Are the Min Min lights perhaps the vehicles of Wangina watching over the land? What do you think?